Hey, y'all. This is Frank the Bigfoot, and you're listening to the Paranormal Punchers.
Hey, friends! Wow. Welcome to Paranormal Punchers. I'm Mark.
I'm Alicia.
I'm Nash.
And no Dave.
That's right.
No Dave.
We're all singing the episode today, so.
Oh, I feel like I have to redo mine. But
Oh, you want to try it again? Hey, I'm Mark.
I'm Alicia.
Oh, man.
I'm Nash.
To be fair.
That's right.
To be fair, if this is your first episode of Paranormal Punchers, you probably just clicked off.
Yeah, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
But I hope you stuck around. Hey, we're going to talk about the Allagash Abductions on this episode. Little UFO abductions, a little probing, a little prodding. Should be fun. How's everybody doing?
Good.
Yeah, I'm doing pretty great. I brought a beer specifically from Allagash to talk about with our Allagash experience here today.
Right.
And I got to tell you, I'm kind of feeling it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As in, you enjoy the flavor or it's starting to hit you
Yes.
on both? Okay.
Both.
Oh, okay. I was like, you didn't answer the question.
Yes, because this is probably my third beer, and I'm
Okay.
kind of a lightweight. Even though I'm a giant, I'm kind of a lightweight. Yeah. And it's delicious.
Yeah.
It's muy delicioso.
Okay.
It's going to be one of those episodes, huh?
Yep.
All right.
Yeah. So-
Maybe Dave keeps us from going off the rails. No, that's not true.
No. He only assists. That's not.
Yeah.
Aids and abets.
Well, we should probably keep things rolling.
Yeah.
Get this episode
Moving.
cooking.
Yeah. Dead silence while I drink.
Yeah.
We're going to kick things off, as always. Oh, my God, I forgot to do it again. We are part of the Podbelly Network. Boom.
Nice.
Podbelly.com. Go find other fun and interesting podcasts just like ours.
That's right. That's exactly right.
To all my Podbelly podcasters, I'm sorry.
I know.
I had fully planned to make sure I did the shout out, and then I had a beer, and everything just went downhill.
Yeah. You kind of hold on to those main topics, and the fringe stuff kind of just melt away.
Well, we're going to kick things off here. Listener feedback brought to you by Living Among Bigfoot, the only book series about Bigfoot that drops the 15th of every month on Amazon.
Now, today is the 15th, so as we record anyway.
Oh,
So
maybe it dropped.
Maybe it dropped today. I don't know. We should see it showing up here pretty soon.
We're going to start things off here. We have Amazon, not Amazon, an Apple. Apple review from G4757575. It's a 5-star.
What is this? The guy?
Hold on.
Oh, wait,
You guys take too long to start talking about the actual subject of
Yeah.
that particular podcast, wasting too much time talking nonsense. This was my previous review, and I take it back. Hello, guys. This is Gilbert from Bakersfield, California. Also, G-Force. You can say my name. It's fine. Whew, good, because I just did. You guys read my review on the last show, and I felt really bad because I gave you a 1-star rating. And still, you guys thanked me for listening. To me, it makes a world of difference when you guys interact with your listeners. You guys are really a really nice bunch, and I made a mistake on the last rating I gave you guys.
Oh, wow.
I'm sorry. You don't need to apologize, dude. I based my last rating on the one negative thing I saw back then and dismissed all the positive things about your show. Your show is fun as well as entertaining. I'm a huge fan of the paranormal and also the UFO subject. I always listen to your show and keep track of it since you guys are one of the top podcasts out there. Oh, thanks, dude.
That's awesome.
And that's the truth. I've given you guys a well-deserved 5-star rating. Keep up doing what you're doing. Your show is great, and I'll keep listening. Thank you, guys, and take care.
Wow. That's great.
Gilbert, thank you so much.
Yeah.
I'm glad you continue to give our show a chance.
Yeah.
And
Definitely.
that you like it. Appreciate that 5-star. That certainly doesn't hurt. Gilbert, welcome to the Pudding Skin.
Yeah.
I hope we can keep a smile on your face.
I could go for some pudding right now. That'd be great.
No, it would not.
Banana, tapioca, or chocolate. I don't care.
We heard from Mary Jackie. 5 stars on Apple Podcast. Amazing. I love your show, and it keeps me laughing, especially while at work. I have a stressful job and deal with not so happy people every day. Listening to your podcast helps me get through my workday. It makes me feel like I'm sitting, listening to my buddies chat and enjoy adult libations. Thanks for the prime entertainment. Cheers.
Cheers. Thank you.
Cheers. Cheers, everybody.
That's right.
Thanks, Mary Jackie. I appreciate that. Nash, you know that person?
What?
Do you know that person?
I don't. Maybe. I don't know. I don't think so. I don't know.
Well, no, you said like something about you had one of your buddies left a review. So I didn't know if Mary Jackie.
No. That was not Mary Jackie. No.
Oh, okay. Well, Mary Jackie, you can be our buddy.
Yes.
Yeah. And you are actually for sending us an email. Thank you.
Right.
Or for a review. Thank you very much.
We heard from Spiderweb again. Remember, he was the person that said more aliens, please.
Oh yeah, I feel you.
So I just listened to the trivia episode, and it was awesome. You should do more like that. You mentioned wanting to hear my experience, so I have one. I apologize for any inconvenience. I don't really have the internet, and I can't reach out otherwise. He's leaving his story in his Apple Podcast review.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
No one's ever done this, so this is like really cool.
Wow.
I've had several encounters with shadow people, mostly at night, but during the day as well. There have been several times where I'm FaceTiming with a friend, and I see a shadow person standing behind me. One day, I was on the phone with a friend, and I felt something tap my shoulder. What? So I turned around. Obviously, there wasn't anything there. I freaked out, hung up, and went to watch TV. And I heard footsteps going up and down my hallway. That night, and almost every night since, it opens the door to my room and peeps at me with his big eyes like, I'm looking at you.
What?
I'm not completely mentally stable, though, so take my story with a grain of salt.
Okay.
Whoa.
That would freak me out.
Yeah.
Opening the door and poking its head in?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, forget
It's
it.
one thing to see it like go by in the background. Like, again, we've had our own Shadow Man experiences, but I'm telling you, if it took to start opening up the bedroom door, that's when you pack your bags, we're moving.
Yeah.
Have you guys had anything? I don't even know if
No, not since I told it to F off.
Well, but anything where the Shadow Man actually opened the door and did a physical manifestation of being there.
Oh, no, believe me, I would have already mentioned that because that would be insane.
That's what I mean, because that's not just Shadow Man. That's like poltergeist. That's something. Wow, that's a different ballpark when you say.
Or a burglar.
Or open the door. Right. Right.
Spiderweb, thank you.
Yeah.
And I think that's an amazing use of Apple Podcast review is to leave your paranormal story.
Definitely.
Yeah. We are from Denise. Hi. Love your podcast. Helps my day go faster sitting at my desk at work. Wanted to let you know on episode 83, one of you said there isn't a maze out front at the Stanley Hotel in Estes Park, Colorado.
I think that was me.
That was definitely you. And then I agreed for some reason. I don't know why I agree with you. There is a maze out front now. Not as big as the one in the movie, but if you're trying to do it in the dark, you'd get a little lost. My husband and I stayed there in September of 2019 for our 30th anniversary. Oh, happy anniversary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We tried it out one night. As the hedges gets bigger, it will help. Love the podcast. Keep it going. Denise.
Well, I would definitely say the last time I was at the Stanley Hotel it must have been, at this point, 20 years ago-ish.
Okay.
So it has been quite a while. So, I mean, I could definitely see them doing something like that. And my information is dated, so.
Right.
By 20 years.
Yeah, a fair amount. To me, it was just
fact-checked you.
Yeah, you should have. But
This show does not have a fact checker.
No. Well, our fact checker is Dave, and he's not here.
he's not here, so.
Well, he didn't check that
No, he didn't.
during our paranormal trivia.
Yeah,
He failed.
And when I was there, it was so long ago they didn't have it, and I've been carrying that information for me 20 years. Well, it's just right around the corner. It's just a little while ago.
Okay.
It's how it works. But clearly, I'm wrong. So
Denise, again, thanks for the info.
Yeah, thank you.
So we could update our knowledge base.
Yeah, in my
Nash.
brain. Yeah, it needs some updating, definitely.
And thanks for listening to the show. We're from Sean Z. What's up, buddy? P-Punchers, what's up? I know you guys are thinking of revisiting some past episodes like the Dyatlov Pass. Great idea. I have a great book suggestion. It's called Dead Mountain, The Untold True Story of the Dyatlov Pass Incident. It's by Donnie Eicher, E-I-C-H-A-R, Eicher. I have read it and must say it really puts a lot of the incident into perspective. It takes you through a lot of the search and stuff that was going on that I feel should be put out there. Totally looking forward to the Dyatlov Pass. That's a heck of a word.
Yeah.
Totally looking for the...
you set yourself up
Sean
again for
Z.
that.
Let me start this again. Totally looking forward to the Dyatlov Pass revisited. Oh, and the North Country is Northern New York. Hey, way to cough right...
I know.
Damn it,
Over
Nash,
here,
you
my
got the
arm.
corona?
I'm in my arm. I can't reach my elbow.
Oh, my...
Wow.
way to go.
Yeah,
That's it.
we're all dying.
Oh, and the North Country is Northern New York. I should have elaborated a little bit more on that in my last message. You read buzz messages fine as well. By buzzed, I mean a few drinks. Until next time, Sean Z out.
That's our sweet spot. That's how we do it.
We heard from John. Sorry for not messaging as much. It's okay, man. Come to find out, we don't have any station shirts as they are made by member order. John's a volunteer firefighter, if you remember that
Oh,
message.
yeah.
He
Right.
said about sending us a station shirt, and I said we proudly hang in the rafters of the studio. It's all right, man.
Yeah.
Those shirts are definitely something for people that put their lives on the line for other people.
For sure.
We don't need one.
Correct.
Just be safe and thank you for helping others.
Right.
I love your podcast and can't wait to hear the next one. I think it would be really cool if you guys did the Dyatlov Pass. I bolded it so you can copy and paste. I got tired of trying to spell it. Me too. I'm not sure if it's completely paranormal, but 9 experienced hikers died mysteriously and 6 died of trauma-related injuries a mile away from their base camp. John, that was episode 1 of our show, was the
Yeah.
Dyatlov Pass.
Yeah.
So go check it out now. Like some people have mentioned that we were a little rusty.
Rough.
We didn't hit our stride, but episode 1, but give it a shot. That's why we want to revisit it.
Right,
Because I think
exactly.
we could do a better job. We could do more
For
research.
sure.
I feel like the first episode was only like 23 minutes, so we didn't cover a lot. But John, thank you for listening.
Yeah.
Nash, why are you looking at Alicia?
Because I was trying to like put my foot underneath my butt.
Something looked painful
and
over there.
the chair was hurting my ankle, so
Right.
so I can't be comfortable.
It's a little
Sorry.
behind the scenes.
Ah,
A little behind the scenes for everybody. BTS.
Yeah.
Just trying to produce a good quality show, and Alicia's just over
know.
here can't.
I can't get comfortable.
sit still.
I know. Sorry.
It's all right. Oh, yeah. We heard from Art Designs 305.
Nice.
I'm still screaming out my window, skunk it! Obviously, he was listening to the trivia. And
It was
like,
right there.
you know, there were a lot of people, I can guarantee you, that were just
Yeah.
screaming at their whatever device they use to listen to podcasts.
It was right there. It was right. It was just on the tip of the brain. It was so close.
I see, and I didn't know where Dade County was.
That's what threw me off in the whole thing.
So I answered
Yeah.
something wrong, and then
Right.
I couldn't answer anymore after
Right.
that. So.
Honestly, I feel like I was a little misleading with that question by not saying Florida.
Right.
Exactly.
I should have read. I had it typed there, but the last second, as I was reading, my brain said, "That's going to give it away right away."
if you said
Florida,
Dade County,
but
Florida,
I should have read it as I
Yeah.
wrote.
Yeah, if you were at Dade County, Florida, as soon as you said Florida, boom, we would have had it. But you said Dade County, and I'm like, where the heck is?
See,
Dade
no, that's
County?
100%. You're wrong because I did say Florida. I said, "Oh, let me give you the rest of this."
Well,
I said Dade County, Florida.
After we'd all guessed it like
No,
7 times.
nobody. Well, Dave kept calling it swamp.
Yeah,
Yeah.
something.
And a bog monster, or
You were trying to say the Boggy Creek.
yeah.
So no, even with Florida, you didn't get it.
Well,
Now, Lish
you
is the
know.
only one that got screwed out of that.
Yeah.
Because you said Momo.
I said Momo.
But as soon as I said
but-
Florida, you were like,
Yeah.
"Ah."
We all know that
Yep.
you're the smart one. So, and you got screwed out of it because nobody said Florida. I'm just saying.
Yeah, that's all right.
And Art Designs 305 sent us a sweet
Yeah.
piece of his original artwork.
Yeah, it's really awesome.
It's great. Came all the way from Miami.
That would be an awesome tattoo.
Right?
It would.
Yeah, it really would.
We got it sitting over here on the one desk. We all can see it. Art Designs 305, Alberto, thank you
Yeah.
so very much.
Yeah, definitely.
That was super sweet. You didn't have to,
Right.
but it's awesome.
yeah.
How about this? We heard from Three Spirited, all the way from the UK. Hi, this is Will from Three Spirited. I'm loving going back through all your old episodes, listening to them again while I'm at work on the night shift. A lot of people listen to our show on the night shift.
Yeah.
Keep up the amazing work and would love more UK stuff when you have time.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like that idea.
We did a few episodes on...
Really? That too?
Jeez, what happened there? On some paranormal stuff in the UK, and then we haven't gone back yet. We have to go back over.
We do.
Yeah.
Australia.
That's not
Finland.
That's not the UK. That's
No.
not the UK.
Other places that we have talked about one incident and never checked out more in these areas.
Right.
I know it's not Australia's not the UK.
You said the UK, and you're like, the first thing you're like, we need to go back to the UK. You know, like Australia.
I didn't say like. And if I did, it was like, it's also like these other countries that have paranormal stories that
Australia and the UK are a little far apart. I mean, they have a tumultuous past. So,
Right. I was just saying, there's other places on this globe that we should
I'm just saying
look into.
They're not in the UK. I'm just, pointing that out.
Three Spirit, I'm sorry that Nash and I are arguing. You're right. We should look up some more paranormal in the UK.
Right.
Jeez. We heard from Phantom Gamer. Last night, I had the worst bout of sleep paralysis ever.
Oh, no.
Not only did I see and hear something, but it also touched my face. It smelled like rotting flesh.
What?
Also, let me know if you want to hear me sound like Momo without a soundboard.
Okay.
First, Phantom Gamer, what's up? Sucks. I'm sorry you had that episode.
That's terrifying.
That's terrifying. And the answer was yes to his message. So here is Phantom Gamer doing what? You stop. Hey. Do you think it's easy to pull all this information together?
To read the name?
Try to make sure the board's running and play this?
You're right. You are right.
All right, so here's Phantom
Gamer.
Oh, yeah, my name's Momo and I'm from Missouri. My cousin's Frank, and my uncle is the Yeti.
Thanks, Phantom.
I love it.
Nice.
Yes, the Frank is. We use the mixing board to kind of change the octave a bit, add a little wobble and some reverb, so we can get that Frank sound.
Yep.
But yeah, thanks, man. Appreciate it. And I'm going to finish off listener feedback. We heard from Christina. Not feeling great today. So laying up in bed with a bunch of yarn and catching up on some podcast. P-Punchers podcast. She said, you all are a mess. The Flying Snake of Namibia. She's referring to a Patreon episode.
Namibia.
She wrote,
Namibia.
Yeah.
I said Namibia. Because that's how I think one of us was saying it.
Right.
That's a Patreon episode, and we were a mess.
We were.
Most likely.
We were out of control. Christina said, hubby even came into the room to find out what I was laughing at. It hurts to breathe right now. So laughing at y'all was killing me. Laughing and crying at the same time.
Wow.
Christina, thank you for, number one, supporting us on Patreon.
Yeah.
And I hope you're feeling better. I hope that you get better, and I hope it's not the COVID-19.
Right.
So, number one, thanks for listening. Thanks for supporting the show. And please get better and let us know when you're feeling better.
And I think if any creature, flying reptilian creature, or anything reptilian should be spitting venom, just to follow up on the game show that we just had, I think it should be that flying creature of Namibia.
But the question was about the worm.
But, well, I just think that it really should. Snakes, they often are spitting venom.
But that's not it. I said the Gobi Desert.
Wait, it's in the desert. I don't think
not every desert.
I'm just saying.
You lost.
Oh, well.
Alicia won.
Those chips were pretty good, though.
Yeah, but it was so hilarious with the bomb, because that sauce is hot.
It's hot. It's really, really hot.
Yeah, I got that for Christmas for Dave, and we all was at the New Year's Eve party. We were playing some D&D. We all tried that on a chip, and I tell you, it was
hot.
It has some heat to it. But it's good to know that I could take the bomb because I watched the podcast or the YouTube or whatever it is, the channel where they do the hot ones where they do the chicken wings, to know that I would be good all the way up to that. And even it gives you a good like barometer versus hot sauces. Yeah.
You couldn't answer anything because you keep hiccuping.
Yeah.
Well,
so you probably end up losing, but you could finish your plate.
That's right. That's right. It'd be good footage.
Thanks for everybody for sending in listener feedback. You're awesome. You're part of the show. We love you. And we have a couple stories too for the second half.
Okay.
From Corey in Asia. So thank you. So without further ado, it is time to get into the Allagash Abductions. That'd be Allagash, Maine. Nash brought some Allagash beer today.
Yes.
I guess because we were talking about an incident in Allagash.
As soon as I heard Allagash, I was like, hey, there's a brewery there, and I think I can get some of that beer. So we got it, and it's yummy.
It is yummy.
Yeah, nice and light. And what is it, a Belgian wheat?
Yeah, Belgian wheat.
They're white, the Allagash white. It's a lovely, nice, light beer.
It is good.
It's lovely.
I promise you, this is a show where we talk about the paranormal.
Eventually, we'll get there. We'll get there.
Lish,
Yes.
take it away.
Okay. So Allagash, Maine. Allagash is a small town, under 300 people that live there, in Aroostook County in Northern Maine. It is surrounded by some woodlands that is well traveled by hunters, hikers, and campers. It's like thousands of acres. So this is a lot of not populated area, okay? Just to give you an idea. Now, in August of 1976, 4 men, brothers Jack and Jim Weiner, and their friends Chuck Rack and Charlie Foltz, went on a camping trip for 2 weeks in the Allagash wilderness of Maine. On the second night, Jim noticed a strange bright object in the sky that appeared for about 30 seconds, and it caved in on itself and eventually vanished.
What do you mean it caved in on itself?
Well, let me read his quote.
All right.
It was just floating above the treetops, didn't seem to be moving in any direction, and it suddenly just winked out from the outside edges inward. I mean, it literally just went whoofed like that, and it was gone.
Okay.
So it kind of
folded in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is kind of interesting.
So I can imagine, like, the ship itself maybe had like panels that opened up that shot the light, and then it looked like it folded in, so because they closed them and just went away. Okay.
Yeah. So then 2 nights later, on August 20th, the men decided to go night fishing and made a good-sized bonfire from some large logs that would burn well into the night so they could find their way back to the shore because it's dark. It's in the middle of the night.
Right. So it's like, they're beacon.
Their beacon, yeah. After a short time, they saw a strange light hovering over some trees, perhaps like 100 yards away, maybe. The object changed colors as it moved back and forth. Red, then green, then a whitish yellow. The massive object was estimated to be about 80 feet in diameter. Charlie used his flashlight at that point to signal SOS to the object because I guess that's what people do, I guess. I don't know. I don't think I would try to get its attention.
You wouldn't go SOS to the object. You would go SOS to anything but the object.
Right.
I wonder why I picked SOS. I mean, I guess, from as far as Morse code, that's one of the easiest things to do.
I was going to say he probably knew that one.
Because if it's like an alien spacecraft and you're signaling for help.
Right.
Right.
Pick them up. They need help. They're floating in an aluminum.
Go get them.
Weird-shaped vessel in the middle of this pond. Yeah.
All right. So suddenly the object...
I interrupted with such a stupid, insane comment.
Suddenly the object shot out a bright blue light, which began following the men along the water. So at that point, they started paddling back like very frantically because they were like, oh my gosh, what's happening? A hollow light came from the object, engulfing the men and their canoe. And the next thing they remembered was being on the shore.
Right. They missed that last...
Yeah.
I don't remember finding exactly how far out on the water they were.
I don't know either.
Do you know
in a couple of the stories that I saw, they had different locations where they were.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I feel
it was called Smith Pond.
Okay.
So it doesn't sound like it was like a lake. It doesn't sound like it was that big of a body of water.
Right. Okay.
So Charlie pointed his flashlight toward the object again, but this time it rose up and out of their view as it showed its beam once more before disappearing into the sky. Yeah. So they thought it was strange that their fire that they had set just minutes before was pretty much burnt out at that point. So they were kind of like, were we gone for a while? Like, I don't remember being gone for so long. But they felt very fatigued and they went to bed instead of actually discussing this or whatever.
Well, they were plumb tuckered.
They were tired. The 4 men, they spent 6 more days in the wilderness, but they never again saw the bright object. Now, fast forward. I think it's 10 years?
Yeah.
Or
right
12
around
years?
10, 12 years, something like that.
So, anyway, actually, when they got home, the men told their families and friends about the strange sightings that they saw, but nobody really believed them at that point. So they kind of just forgot about it. 12 years later, in 1988, Jack and Jim began having strange nightmares about the 4 men sitting on a bench naked and feeling very fearful. Now, I also found that and these are all just like from different multiple sources. They all have different things.
That's what the alien said.
I know. That
I wasn't going to talk about the nightmares of 4 naked men sitting around.
You started laughing right away. I was like, why is the idea of 4 naked men sitting on a bench to make you smile?
It just made me think of that would be a nightmare in my book too. I would just be sitting around with 4 naked guys, and it's like, why? I don't know.
Yeah, like if we got abducted this podcast and woke up, we're all sitting on a bench naked, I'd be like, all right, what did Nash slip in the beer?
So an alternate thing was that Jim Weiner, he had an accident in which he fell about 15 feet and received a bad case of epilepsy from it. A severe blow to his head. He began having nightmares of being surrounded by monsters doing experiments on his body. And then another story said that he had a car accident that gave him seizures.
So some kind of an impact.
Something happened to his head.
Yeah, something jarred something loose.
Yeah.
Whether it was an accident or a car accident or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was reading that Jim was having these nightmares. Called his brother. Well, it started to explain these nightmares, and his brother's like, I've been having the same nightmares.
Right, which is
that
crazy.
would be like, that would be crazy.
Right.
To think, number one, to think like, what is happening? What's going on with this nightmare? And then call your brother, and he's like, yeah, same thing, man.
I'm having the same thing. It's a shared experience. Oh my gosh.
So, Jim Weiner, he went to the doctor and he said something to the doctor about like what he was experiencing. The doctor basically said, you're off your rocker. You're crazy. So at that point, he decided to take his problems to a different set of experts. He went to a UFO convention and talked to a UFO researcher, Ray Fowler, who put him in contact with Anthony Constantino, who was a high school English teacher, but also a hypnotist.
Okay.
Because they were like, oh, maybe we'll go under hypnotism and try to figure out what's happening.
Some regression therapy.
Right. Yeah, it was a regression one. They all decided to go under hypnosis separately and not tell the other about what they remembered. They each described how they were abducted and then probed by aliens back in 1976.
Damn probing.
No, I heard that some of the memories, they remember that the aliens were playing with their genitals, too.
Yes. Well, the aliens apparently took samples of the men's skin and body fluids, including sperm.
That's what I had heard of, that they saw... What was one of them actually remembered looking over it and seeing the aliens doing something to somebody next to them on a table where they're removing skin and the fluids, and it's like
having a whole sex party up in there.
Well, that's what I was like. Well, the fluids can be one thing, but removing skin, ow.
Yeah, they Jack remembered that the aliens had terrifying faces, like large metallic glowing eyes with no lids, and their hands were insect-like, with 4 fingers.
Okay.
And then they also, I don't know which one it was or if they all remember this, but they said giant insects spoke to them telepathically.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah, one described it as even the face reminded them of a bug, like an ant.
Okay.
Because, ants have those big eyes.
Right, the big side eyes,
Yeah.
the lidless eyes.
But they weren't sure, was it possibly just wearing goggles? They weren't sure.
That's kind of hard to simulate. I don't want to say it's hard to simulate, but it's like, so if you're a human wearing a mask that looks like an ant's head, your eyes are not in the same position as an ant's eyes.
Well, the goggles could just give you the impression of these big,
well, that's true,
blank eyes.
And this did happen. The regression happened in the late 80s, whereas the actual thing happened in the mid to late 70s.
Yeah, 1976.
76.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm thinking that the, when they went under and the whole nine yards, and when they're recalling this, this day and age, we can easily say, it's like an ant head, or it's like the grays with the eyes on the side. We can be very clear about what we're describing.
Probably was the grays.
But that was at a time before internet, before, I don't want to say before color TV, because it wasn't that far back. It was just the 80s. But
1970s, yeah. Before
70s
color TV.
Yeah.
You act like you're 20, bro.
I feel that way. Not often, but,
And then he also said they had spandex-like clothing on. So good to know that even aliens are rocking spandex, just like Star Trek, or we always think aliens are wearing really shiny spandex outfits.
Yeah. Okay.
So after the sessions, Ray brought them all together, and they learned that each of them had recalled the same events. Mm-hmm. They each then took a polygraph,
right,
and they all passed. So these are all things that they had remembered happening to them.
Well, and correct me if I'm wrong, but to pass a polygraph, I mean, we've always seen movies where they're trying to coach people up on how to pass a polygraph, but this is back in the day before any of that was around.
Right.
So these guys doing a polygraph, that's how they did the lie detectors. Mm-hmm. There was no, maybe they could pass it if they were in with the CIA or the FBI, but these were not. That's not the scenario.
No. Now, some of the aftermath from this, Jack. So all 4 of these guys, they all met. Right. Well, besides the 2 brothers, they met.
They know each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They all went to an art college in Massachusetts.
Okay.
So they're all artists. They all began to do some of their artwork pretty much reflected what they had experienced or whatever. Jack Weiner's artwork became fairly odd, focusing on holes burnt in pieces of graph paper. He also developed a large lump on his leg.
What?
Yeah, which he then had removed. Supposedly, the pathologist was unable to identify it and sent it to the CDC.
Was it an alien baby?
I don't know.
Oh, it was something.
I don't know, because when Jack Weiner went there to see if they'd made any progress in identifying it, he was told that the Department of Defense had, for some reason, come in and confiscated the sample.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, I wonder what was in that sample. Was it a clone baby, or
I don't know.
Was it some kind of a?
Must be a slow-growing baby, because this is 12 years later.
It's 12 years later, right?
So
right.
I don't know.
Huh. I wonder how big the growth was. If it was like a golf ball or a ping pong ball, or
I don't know. They didn't give specifications, because I would have written it down, but I didn't.
That would have been awesome. Because then they could have gone to Dr. Pimple Popper or something like that and taken it out, or the foot doctor person that's now there, and be like, "Dang, yo, let's get this out of you."
No,
but oh well.
Now in 2016, fast forward much later, Chuck Rack, he said that the abduction part of the story was made up, and that he went along with the narrative for financial gain. However, he does admit to seeing a series of strange lights over a period of a couple days during their camping trip. The other 3 men, they stuck to their story, with Weiner saying, "Jack, Charlie, and I, after all these years, are still in agreement with the Eagle Lake event as we remember it. We also accept the results of the hypnotic regression sessions and subsequent polygraph tests as supportive of an abduction scenario. So, yeah, so they had some...
But how... So if he said if he was going along with his friends, he wouldn't have been able to pass the polygraph.
I know.
So passing, unless you have specific training on how to pass a polygraph, which I don't know if he did or not, but if he said it was false and he was just going along, he wouldn't have been able to pass the polygraph saying that these things happened.
Well,
some people are capable of doing that.
True, they can pass the tests.
Remember, they were going around to conventions, and they were talking about this for a while. It's kind of like you tell a lie,
and you kind of so many times,
and eventually, if you tell it so much, you start to believe it. And be
right.
So you would pass the a polygraph because at this point you believe the lie you told years ago.
But the polygraph was in '88.
Yes.
But that was only when the dreams started coming out, is when they polygraphed them. So was there stories previous to '88 of, this story was being leaked out? Was
or were they practicing?
Yeah,
telling the story before they took.
Right. That's what I mean.
Actually, I have no facts. I'm just saying. I think it is possible to pass a polygraph, even if you're full of shit.
Well, right.
Crap,
but
sorry, I went there.
Right.
But that's. But I think that's if you know the questions and you know the situation and you've been talking about it, and like you said, talking about it so much that you adopt that belief yourself, that you believe it to be true.
For sure.
But this didn't. The polygraph happened in '88 when the dreams were starting to manifest.
Yeah.
Not after they'd been like book tours and stuff like that.
Well,
I don't know.
Remember, one of the biggest factors is that. They had the other three had a falling out with Chuck, so
because
it's quite possible that he just wanted to, start some controversy.
That's true.
Stir the pot,
right?
Because he didn't, because
right,
he was butthurt.
Yeah,
yeah. The one thing I have is they believe that Rack was intentionally trying to destroy their credibility after a falling out. Interestingly enough, because they say that he was the one that wanted to try to make money from this, and the rest of the group did not agree with that. They were also quick to point out that Rack was always a bit of a wild card and had a long history with temper issues, especially painting him as someone who had lost control and then flown off the rails. So I think something did happen with the group. They had a falling out.
It sounds like they were just pissed. They were just pissed off at each other and weren't friends anymore.
Right.
He said that there was recreational drugs being used.
Yeah,
this was,
and the other three denied that. They said this had beer.
Right.
Yeah, whatever. It's the mid to late 70s. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I got you. There was beer. They're probably smoking a little weed, whatever.
Yeah, 1976.
I mean, come on, and were there hallucinogens? Who knows? But they all passed the polygraph. That's the thing, is the polygraph is what I keep, as you can tell, kind of holding on to, saying, how did the guy who came out later saying it was fake pass a polygraph when he said it was true? And if he was under the influence of whatever, there would have been a question that wouldn't have passed the polygraph.
Right.
I don't know.
You're acting like the polygraph is like a 100% accurate.
Right.
I know that it's not, but to pass a polygraph, you've got to have specific training. You've got to be able to know that you're going to go into a polygraph, and you have to be ready for those questions. It's not just a couple of guys who are just, I never found what they did for employment, but none of these guys were like secret.
Well, they
agents.
were all artists, I believe.
Yeah, that's right.
So, they went to art school. I don't know if all of them were going into art then after, but
none of that says James Bond to me.
True.
I don't know. I don't know what it takes to pass a polygraph, but I think we should all do that in the next game show.
Okay.
We need a polygraph. That would be awesome.
Oh, jeez.
That's what I'm saying.
So there's been quite a few people that have really investigated this whole thing, gotten focused on it.
Uh-huh.
Obviously, I talked about the UFO researcher Ray Fowler. And then psychiatrist and author Dr. John Mack, they both investigated this and studied the case of this abduction. Now, there was another doctor, Dr. William Cole. He looked into the case, but from a skeptical point of view. And he believes that these men received their memories from television shows and movies. So, like, they felt like this happened to them, but really it was just more like it brought in subconsciously. But I don't know.
I found something I want to bring up.
Okay.
No, this is for Nash.
Oh.
So a former NSA.
Yeah, there you go.
This guy said it's easy to beat a polygraph while telling a real lie by daydreaming to calm the nerves. Think of a warm summer night or drinking a beer. Whatever calms you, you're throwing them off. The needle might nip a little because you're lying, but not off the charts. And since the person has already convinced the tester that, there was a little bit I didn't read about. Those pre-questions, how to rig the lie, so it throws up. All right, so my facts aren't that.
So he turned back on you. What's up?
No, because I didn't want to have to read the whole article. But this guy from the NSA is saying, yes, you can beat a lie. NSA whistleblower reveals how to beat a polygraph test.
Yeah.
Well, right, but
that's the headline. She just led with that and been done.
But you now know how to do that from opening up online and doing a search. This was in '88.
True.
That's an excellent point.
Yeah.
But it's nothing new. People can beat lie detectors since the lie detector was around.
Mm-hmm.
And I agree
Remain
with that.
calm.
I totally agree with that. But
and some people have no problem lying. That's even
true.
when they're lying, they are dead calm because they have no problem telling a lie.
Right, yeah. I agree with that too.
All right. This is not the podcast about lie detectors.
Right.
I don't know how we got on it, but I was just like, I think the right person can beat it.
I agree with you 100%.
Especially you almost convince yourself it really happened. And if Chuck Rack was all about the money, you could convince yourself pretty hard to like,
Yep.
hey,
right.
Stay chill,
Right.
and you can beat this. That was Nash's fault that we got down.
Oh, it's my fault.
It's always your fault.
Yeah. That's
No,
okay.
it's both our faults. It's both our faults, honey. Let's get back to the UFO conversation.
Well, the last thing I want to bring up is that Maine is one of the best states to spot a UFO. It is the 5th in the nation with 940 sightings, which is about 70 sightings per 100,000 people.
Wow.
Yeah. Now, I think if you're over in like Oregon or Washington, I think that is like number 1 or something like that. But yeah, Maine is number 5, which is so likelihood.
What's the Bigfoot sighting like in Maine?
I didn't look that up.
Yeah, that's a good
I
question.
should have.
That's a good question.
Sorry.
Because they
I know we have this thing called the internet.
Yeah.
Well,
Nash
they've
just had to point out to me.
And they've got the whole KFC Taco Bell thing with the UFOs and the Sasquatch and with Frank. So I agree with you 100%. What are the cryptid sightings? We need to look that up.
Yeah, we should.
They coincide a lot.
Yeah. Well,
now these guys made me think of something when they came out of the woods after this whole thing. They did talk to a park ranger. And it told them what they saw.
Yeah.
And immediately they were dismissed by the Ranger Service, saying there was like some big event like 75 miles away where they had these huge spotlights, because it was a grand opening of this location. And they were like, there's no way what we saw was the grand opening lights of this store. Just kind of made me think that the park rangers, again, were just like dismissive because that made me think again of 411.
Right.
Missing 411, where a lot of park rangers, like, they know something's going on up there, but they can't really talk about it.
Right.
Yeah, maybe have. Yeah.
I don't know.
Because a lot of weird things happen in national parks.
For sure.
And
Is this a national park? Where it went down?
I wouldn't be surprised if it wasn't.
And in the Allagash area, at least I found just on a quick search, at least 10 military bases around
What?
Allagash. Yeah, I'm telling
Okay.
you. So, you know what? You know where I'm going with that.
Yep.
It's the first thing I looked up was how many military bases are around.
Strap in, everybody. Here's where Nash tries to connect this incident to
To Celine Dion.
Oh, God.
a hidden military base.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. It can happen. It's there, you know. But yes, but it was like, well, this makes total sense because they have a time loss. You know, they see the flights. I agree. This spotlight that kind of it grabbed them or whatever it did, it displaced a little time for
It
them.
literally sounds like they talked about after being experimented on, taken to this room. It almost sounds like they were beamed back down. It literally sounds like they had the Star Trek transporter.
Right.
Beamed him down. The one guy remembered an alien trying to put him back in the canoe and set him upright, position him back in the canoe. And then the one dude, I guess he was a little heavier. The aliens were having some struggles trying to get him back in the canoe. I think they gave up and just put him on the shore. They're like, I can't do it.
Well, and
We're like 4-foot grays. We can't do it.
I wonder, so when it comes to a campfire, because they said that their campfire was going when they started it, but when they got back, it was out.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it was pretty much like embers. Like it had,
Right.
And it burned down.
Yeah, it burned down.
Because they thought they had enough wood and the chunks of the size of the logs they tossed on the
Right.
fire. They thought that thing is good for 3 hours, and that's all we need for some night fishing out here in the pond.
Right. So to be able to get back to shore. So if 3 hours, man, that all takes for a bunch of aliens to dissect you and take some skin and some
I
fluids.
don't
You've got a
know.
whole ship full of grays. I don't think it takes long at all.
Yeah.
That sucks.
Yeah.
That really
they
sucks.
clearly beamed them up,
Yeah.
stripped them, threw them all on the table. There's probably enough of the grays that they had a whole team for each person.
Right. They had a whole,
True.
they had
So-
it figured out, ready to roll.
Took all the samples, touched all the genitals, and then they put their
probed
clothes,
all the holes.
They put their clothes back on, beamed them. I love that they were trying to put him back in the canoe.
I know.
And they gave up on the one guy. I love that. But even sophisticated as the aliens are, they still were struggling.
You can't deal with the beefy guy.
Well, you know what? It sounds like the grays need to hit the weights.
Yeah. They're not small.
You know, some protein
No.
powder.
So maybe the
Doing some
best
squats.
defense against these grays and being abducted is being swole and being big.
Yeah.
See? I think there's a good advertising market right there.
I wonder what if they have to, because I'm saying if you woke up in the middle of an alien trying to put you back in the canoe,
Yeah.
I mean, and especially if you realize I am much bigger than this 4-foot gray. Now, I guess you would be terrified because you're like, oh my God, this is really happening.
Right.
But man, just a punch to that big old forehead of that gray.
Do like the bonk on the top
Yeah.
of the head because they're all teeny tiny. You know, you could just be like,
Right.
you'd be like a
You
300
should
pound
be able to
gorilla.
pick one up. We could like throw it up over like a bar, like in a strongman competition.
Yeah. You'd just be like picking them up and throwing them around. That'd be pretty nice. Mm-hmm. All right.
So what we learned today is if you get abducted, should be working out, drinking protein shakes, so you could just smash.
Right.
So I'm thinking also because, from previous life, one of the things that I had learned is that some people develop tolerances to certain kind of chemicals or drugs that might knock you out or things like that. You develop a tolerance to those things. So from my takeaway from this story is, one, you need to work out like a crazy person, become swole. 2, you got to take a lot of drugs because you're going to need to have a tolerance. So when they put you under, you wake up a little early. You're not going to be able to stop from being put under.
That is awful advice.
But then you would wake up on the ship because it would wear off a little quicker.
Dude, you can't advise anybody listening
To work out and take a bunch of drugs?
to build up a tolerance to drugs.
I'm not saying go crazy with it, but,
Start small.
start small.
One mushroom here.
A little
or
bit of
two.
LSD on the side, some amphetamines.
We do know we are not.
We are not advertising this.
Not advocating
We're not
at
condoning this whatsoever. We're just saying that maybe these guys, because it was the 70s, they had some of the bigger guy, like the big dude, he had a bit of a tolerance. It was the 70s. He was a big dude, So like alcohol affects you less than it does a little teeny tiny person.
I assume that aliens have just some better device to put you out.
Better stuff.
Yeah, so I don't think build up your tolerance.
But the one dude woke up, and there were reports of these guys seeing the other guys being tested on and probed and removing
I'm going to tell you right now,
skin.
if I woke up and they were fondling me, I'd definitely start swinging.
Oh no, you'd Hulk out. You would go full rage and turn into a bull in a china shop, which would be awesome.
I'd pick one up and smash it into another one.
Oh, I
got to terrify them.
You throw them around like
using one of them as a weapon against the other.
That's what I'm saying. That would be awesome because they can't.
They'd be like, "We should never have abducted this podcast.
This is
crazy.
This is a bad idea."
These paranormal punches are the worst.
I know the one guy. He remembered the aliens telling him, like, listen to us, do what we say,
right?
Because in his mind, he was like, all I wanted to do was attack these guys, but
right.
They kept them calm.
Calm down.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
See, they have powers to defeat us.
Right.
They got to keep us calm.
Telepathic and lots of sedatives.
Probably yes. That's my guess.
I don't know. Is it even sedatives? Are they using some type of telekinesis,
like a Professor X kind of a thing?
Yeah,
to like blanket and make us go to sleep or something. Okay, so if it's not.
Sleep.
Yeah. So if it's not like a sedative or something like that, so that means then forget the whole drug idea. We need to work on our mental telepathic state to create the walls.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So we can be like Professor X style.
They're going to eventually. I assume they will abduct the wrong person.
Yeah.
It won't work on.
Right.
And they'll just wreck shop up in that ship.
Just tear stuff up. That would be awesome. And whip out a phone while they're doing it so they can videotape the whole thing. That'd be really, really cool.
Everything would turn out blurry.
Yeah. That's true.
Sorry, Alicia. Do you have anything else?
No, not really. There's a book by what's his name? Raymond Fowler.
Yeah, all jokes aside, these guys are still out there.
Right.
Cons,
For
They
sure.
wrote a book. This is their experience. We are not making fun.
No, we're not.
No,
we're
not
just
at all.
talking about it.
Right.
And having some fun with it because I guess you got to.
Yeah.
Right.
At some point. But no, this is their story. They wrote a book. They're hitting cons. So you can definitely learn more and get the information right from their own book.
That's correct.
Yeah, the book's called The Allagash Abductions, obviously.
Makes sense.
Yeah. It was also dramatized in an episode of Unsolved Mysteries and featured on the TV program Abducted by UFOs. So there is information out there. You can go watch some stuff, read some stuff, and learn some more.
What would you do, Nash, if you were abducted?
Well, I was thinking about that, and I was thinking, well, if they started probing me, are they going to go probing into? There was a movie where they probed into, like, put goo on your mouth and then probe. It was Fire in the
about
Sky.
Travis Walton. Yeah,
and like they probed through your mouth and then down that way. If it would, they would go front door or back door.
You mean back door?
I don't know. They would both kind of suck. I guess. Yeah, they're both pretty bad.
For the most part,
Yeah.
If you woke up during either of those probings,
Yeah.
it would be frightening.
It would be terrifying because I mean I've seen a situation like I have a brother who's a firefighter, and sometimes they have to do this thing called intubating where they actually snake a breathing tube down into your throat so you can breathe, and it's a horrifying thing to see, and I can't imagine being awake during this process.
God,
Right.
yeah.
Well, I mean, I feel like there's a good chance you may be paralyzed. Like even though I would want to front kick the alien right in the face, I might not be able to move.
Yeah.
So if I wake up in the middle of this, helpless, and things are just, slicing me, taking DNA samples,
Right.
putting things where I don't want them,
Right.
like, and you can't do anything about it, and you're just paralyzed with fear or whatever they did to you,
Right.
it'd be terrifying. But I would definitely go Batman, prepare and get ready because when they come back,
Right.
I don't know.
I would be ready for the next time.
That was one of the things that I really liked about the Fire in the Sky movie about Travis Walton, because it was like there was a time where he actually woke up and was like around the ship trying to get out, like freaking out.
Yeah, no, in the movie he woke up in a pod.
Right.
And I think that's most likely what we would end up doing, because you would freak out, get whatever's inside you out of you, and then it's like, where the heck am I? I need to get out of here. This is crazy, and everything that you would see would terrify you. Everything.
Right.
Whether it doesn't matter what it was. If it was a doorway.
All your senses would be 100% full overload. You wouldn't know what to think, which direction to go. It would be terrifying.
Right, exactly. And you might need to go to the bathroom. You never know.
Oh, you're on an alien ship, you just go wherever you feel like.
That's true.
True.
That's true. Hey, leave a little present for him. You know what I'm saying?
Imagine they have TP.
There's a few there's a few gifts I can give. You know what I'm saying? There's one.
You left a Nash.
Yeah, I left a
Nash smash
little
over here.
present for the team here.
Hey, we did it. Somehow we got poop into the discussion.
That's right. That's right.
Then I feel like that means we've come full circle.
Full circle.
And we're done.
There was no pudding skin involved.
No?
No. But I still got it into the episode.
Yep.
You know, but I don't know. I agree. I think you'd be so terrified that you would not know what to do. Just get out. Just the getaway instinct. The fight or flight would be in full on swing.
Yeah.
Get out of there. Do what you can. I don't care. Just pick a direction and start tearing stuff to get out of it.
Yeah. Speaking of getting out of here, I think it's time to take a break. We're going to come back with final thoughts, listener stories, and all that jazz.
Hey there, this is JB, and if you enjoyed Tales from the Crypt, then check out my show, Tales from the Podcast, where myself, and usually a very special guest, sit down to discuss the TV show, the films, the animated series, as well as the original comics. So check me out every other week on iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, Google Play, and of course at talesfromthepodcast.com.
Thanks for listening, kiddies. You're all a scream.
And we're back.
Yes, we are. We're back today.
Interesting conversation. I think we left off with defecating on the alien ship.
I would do everything I can to poop on that ship. Just leave them a little something because they have all the fluids already. They have skin. They have fluids. I got one more thing to give to you.
Oh, God.
Just one. That's all I've got.
Well, I imagine they have that sample, too. That's what the butt probing's all about. They're getting a stool sample that way.
You're probably right.
Yeah.
Also, see what I can, and if you're pushing really hard, it might be.
Oh, God.
I'm just saying, it might not be pretty.
Yeah.
Might not be the sample that they have.
Well, there just went 10 listeners.
That's right.
God.
Sorry. Bye.
Any final thoughts on this topic? Again, these guys are out there talking about lots of videos. So if you really want to know more about their story, get it right from them.
Right, exactly.
You can find it on YouTube. And again, we mentioned their book.
Yeah.
But I found it extremely interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And again, frightening. Even though we were having a little fun with it, it would be frightening in that situation for sure.
I did, during the break, I looked up Bigfoot sightings in Maine. Okay. I couldn't find an exact number or whatever, but it seems like they do get quite a few. The local Native Americans, they called Bigfoot Pomula.
What?
Pomula.
Pomula.
Yeah. So they said it had red hair.
Oh.
Yeah.
A ginger Bigfoot?
Well, Momo has red hair, right?
I thought.
Does it? I remember.
I don't think it's red. I think it's brown.
Reddish, brownish.
Yeah.
Okay.
Momo.
Pomula sounds slightly reminiscent of the word pomola, which is known to have been a legendary bird spirit that appeared in local Abenaki mythology. This spirit causes cold weather and was believed to be the local god of thunder.
Like Thor.
I know.
Yeah, what's up?
Thought you guys would like that one.
Nah.
But that's all I got. Sorry.
Wow. Well,
So I think, there's a lot of, I think they're known for the UFO sightings, but I think there is some Bigfoot
Does Maine
sightings
put
as
that
well.
on their travel?
No.
they should.
They should, though.
I mean, but we've theorized before.
Visit Maine if you were into UFOs. I mean, I can't believe the
Right.
Travel Bureau hasn't done that.
Well, I mean, we've said before, too, that the Bigfoot is really nothing more than a sanitation engineer for the UFOs.
God.
You know, picking stuff up. So...
The Chestnut Ridge episode.
I'm just saying, you know.
Just in case anybody who's new doesn't know what he's talking about, that was the Chestnut Ridge episode.
Yeah.
But no, I'm going to kind of stick with my advice.
Okay.
I'm going to say, you know, maybe to thwart the alien probing is to get swole, take a lot of drugs, and prepare prepare for psychic warfare.
Or perhaps you don't do your flashlight at the object. You know
Well, that would be good too. Not signaling the bad guys
Right.
is a smart idea.
I know. He
also.
said he did the SOS at him. What if the aliens are like, oh, they said pick us up and probe us.
That's right.
Right.
Get them.
Yeah.
To them, it's
That would
completely
be-
different sentence.
Yeah. I would maybe look at it and watch it, but I would not get my flashlight out and try to, you know, flash them down. Like, hey, I'm over here. Come look at me.
Well, I tried to flash them anyway.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
know.
Just say, hello, flash them down.
I'm going to flash them down. Come over here. Shake, shake, shake.
Shake, shake.
But yes, get swole, take a lot of drugs, and prepare for psychic warfare.
No. Well, this show is not condoning drug use.
Well, 2 of the 3.
No.
At least 2 of the 3.
Right. Yeah, no, totally workout, prepare.
Yeah.
Like, we got steel maces over
Yep.
here.
Yeah.
Which is basically like swinging a cannonball on the end of a steel pole.
Yeah.
Definitely train with those.
I'm telling you.
It's a mace. Like, you literally could knock an alien out with one.
And you don't need like a real heavy one. What is mine? 7 pounds?
7 pounds.
Yeah.
Oh, no, you connect to a gray's head with that thing?
For sure. Yeah.
Well, I mean, you just figure if you wake up, being that our height and strength levels, just all you have to do is wake up. The adrenaline will take care of the rest.
Right.
You'd wake up and, like I said, you would just start picking these guys up and swinging them around and make them the mace. Yeah, it'd be pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd
Yeah.
be kind of funny.
That'd be pretty awesome to watch.
They'd be like, don't mess with Earth anymore. Turns out podcasters
Yeah.
are crazy.
don't go to these people.
And everybody on the planet's a podcaster, so my God.
Right.
Wow. Yeah, that's what I'd say.
Yeah.
We got to train up.
Train up.
All right. Well.
And supplements, not drugs.
right,
Correct.
Right.
Okay,
Yeah.
correct. And prepare for psychic war, you know, so get the mind ready. You know, I don't know what we would do for that, but somebody should tell us.
Well, this episode is called the Allagash Incident, but I don't know what the heck just happened.
That's right.
We were all over the place. So, are we done?
So take it as what you will, but that's the Nash plan for avoiding aliens or dealing with them.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know. I don't think I would go night fishing. First off,
That's
You know
That's
what I
not
mean?
your thing?
That's wise
no,
also.
that's
right.
totally not my thing. If I'm gonna go fishing, it's gonna be during the day when I can see the water. I can see what's in the water.
Yeah,
Yeah, night fishing, no.
not so much.
No.
I used to go night fishing back in the
Did
day.
you?
I lived in Perry County. Yeah, we'd catch catfish. Yeah, it was just an excuse to, sit along the bank, enjoy a beer, hope we caught something. But we didn't care if we caught fish or not.
Right.
True.
Yeah, just hanging with the boys,
Yeah, and I think that's
having a good time, catching up. Yeah,
the whole thing
socializing.
about fishing too is it's not necessarily to catch the fish, it's just to enjoy being outside,
Right.
being with other people.
Right.
Yeah.
And avoiding aliens.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, remember, if you learn anything from our show, SOS might mean something different
Right.
to an alien
Right.
race. So
Don't do it.
don't flash them.
Yeah.
Now, we got... dun, 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 and now you know. I need that whole...
The rainbow come across
Yeah.
the screen. Yeah.
Now we have some stories from some listeners. We got one from Corey. We got one from Asia. Who's going to go first?
I can go first if you want.
Okay, go
All
for
right.
it.
So this is from Asia.
Nash.
Sorry.
I can't believe you just did that in the microphone.
I'm sorry. I tried to.
Yeah.
You didn't try anything. You just sat there and burped right into the microphone.
Oh.
Well, I got to sanitize that now.
I flew it over that way.
Hey, you guys. In Goonie style.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. LOL. Sorry I had to. First off, I want to tell you all that you all are hilarious. I work nights cleaning a large campus in Beavertown, Oregon. I know I sound insane sometimes because I will let out a loud hyena-like cackle from down a dark, quiet hall while working. I've definitely gotten some looks from passing security guards once or twice. I think this is actually the first podcast I've listened to fully through.
Yes.
Well,
Thank you.
Anyway, I'd like to share the very first encounter I ever had. I'm not sure if you'd call it a ghost or a demon because it took form by possessing a porcelain face figurine. I'm sorry, I can't read.
You're
Brought to you by Allagash Brewing.
A porcelain face figurine and coming completely animated, lifelike.
Nope.
Yeah, no, thank you.
No.
When I was 2 years old, we lived in a house off of 56 Southeast Powell near Franklin High School. Apparently, it was a very active house from what my grandma and my mom have told me. They had a lot of their own experiences, like dishes being thrown from cabinets, laughing from nowhere in the same place as them, names being called, wall shaking, and I even got lifted out of my crib when I was a baby.
Oh, no.
Yep, lifted out of my frickin' crib. That's insane. One night, when my mom put me to sleep in our room in this terrifying basement, she was closing the door. She heard an odd sound, so she opened it back up, and I was set in the middle of the room with a terrified look on my face. However, I was so small, I don't remember that one, thankfully. I do remember the ha-ha. Though, get cold bumps just saying it. I was 2, almost 3, so very young, and I honestly think that night scares me so bad. It's why I remember it so well. So what happened was I was watching my tunes on a couch, just being 2 and minding my damn business. I got thirsty and wanted my baba because it had chocolate milk in it.
Oh, yeah. That's the good stuff. That's the good stuff right there.
So I walked into the kitchen to grab it from a counter edge. My back was facing our dining room table when I heard the thunk and felt dread. I remember being scared before I even turned around because of how the air felt. As I turned, my heart dropped, and I froze and could only stare in pure raw fear. There was this head that stood by its neck, a dark blue porcelain head that was radiating a darker blue light around it. It spoke, but did not move its mouth. However, it made many expressions with the brow line and eyes. It told me it was named the Ha-Ha, and it lived in a nest in our attic and watched my family. It had been watching my family for a long time and knew us well. It told me it was always around and could always see. I remember finally being able to scream after what felt like hours, but maybe was 30 scaring seconds. And with a few moments, my mom flew in and with a few friends behind her, flipped the light on and boom, it was gone. The porcelain figurine back on the hanging shelf it had hopped down from. Now, it wasn't until years later that my mom told me she had actually, at that very moment, been playing with a Ouija board seconds before she heard me scream.
Mm-hmm.
So I do think there was some crazy connection there. So, yep, that was my first encounter of many that I've had in my life with the paranormal. I hope you all enjoyed, and feel free to correct the writing in this as needed. I'm not great with punctuation due to the lack of schooling. Thank you. Much love. And, of course, Pudding Skin.
What's up for the win?
You're,
that was not...
Asia, don't worry about the punctuation, all that. Your letter was great. Couple things I want to point out here. Number one, the Ha-Ha.
Yes.
Is an excellent name for like a horror movie.
Yeah, completely. I agree.
And even what she described, it's pretty terrifying.
That's blue porcelain face emanating this blue energy light thing from it.
Oh and then it tells you, number one, that's terrifying enough. Then it tells you, like, Oh, yeah, by the way, I have a nest up in your attic,
Yeah, I live here.
and I watch your family.
Yeah, I've been around for a while. Oh,
Yeah,
right.
we should sell.
Yeah, it's time to move. Yeah. Wow.
But, again, her mom was playing with the Ouija board when that went down.
So I initially thought of the jinns.
Uh-huh.
And I thought, okay, well, could this be something? I mean, it's not. It could be spirit related because it was the Ouija board, but maybe it was because it was the blue face with the blue energy. I thought jinn. I don't know, but I agree that Ouija board. Did she close the Ouija board? Did she close the?
Oh my gosh!
session?
She ran in because she heard Asia screaming,
Right.
but forgot to close the board.
Did she close the session?
Or was the the Ouija board demon Zozo?
Zozo.
I don't know. And if that was the case, when was the mother something? Was she doing the Ouija board earlier? Was it? There's so many questions that are unanswered, but terrifying. Just, oh my gosh.
I wouldn't know, Asia, if the ever made itself known to you again after that incident.
Right. Because it seemed like it was communicating with you.
And can we make a short horror film called The Ha-Ha?
Right, exactly. Well, but it seemed to communicate with her as to be able to send messages back and forth. So that was my next question is, were there any follow-up incidences with the Ha-Ha?
Well, this was her first.
Ooh,
Yeah.
Did
So-
you ever go look for the nest?
Oh my gosh. Movie.
Right?
Was that, were they alone?
What if the nest is actually is a portal? So you
Right.
find the nest, and next thing you know, yeah, it's a portal to hell.
Oh.
And you're fighting like a whole army of ha-has.
Was it a nest actually like, is what you think, like a bird nest, or was it thing like a portal, like a mirror, or
Right.
what was the nest? Was it something that's been there for a while, collecting items, or God? Oh my gosh, there's so many questions. We need a movie.
Thank you so much, Asia.
No, thank you.
Hey, we heard from Corey. Hey, guys. It's Corey again. I would like to share my random UFO story.
Ooh.
To kind of start off, we live near an Air Force base, and my dad is a retired veteran. He was a crew chief in the Air Force, and he would take me up on the base to look at the planes, and we would always go to the Air Museum here in Utah. So I'm very familiar with military and civilian aircraft. This was nothing like I've ever seen before. Last July, my wife and I stopped by the liquor store to get some drinks. I was driving my dad's truck because my car was getting a new transmission. His truck was brand new at the time and had a sunroof, which we had open because it was such a beautiful night.
Nice.
We were just chilling in the truck, talking about our day. In mid-conversation, we both stopped and looked up through the sunroof, and a huge black triangle with dim whitish or yellowish lights on each point of it slowly passed by above us. The actual craft was darker than the night sky. It was dead silent and pretty low, maybe 5 stories up. My wife and I kind of stared at each other for a few seconds, and we were like, did we just see what we think we saw? So I asked her if she did, in fact, see it. She said she did and described it back to me, and it was exactly the same. And for some weird reason, we were just like, cool, that just happened. And we went about our night. We talked about it later, but we weren't freaked out or scared or anything like that. She is also part of the paranormal team I'm on. It was pretty cool being able to see in the middle of a city and with his wife. To see that in the middle of a city and with his wife. Right. Thanks for sharing my story thanks for sharing my story on the Yeti episode.
Oh.
Keep up the great work. If it's not weird, it's not worth checking out. Thanks, Corey.
Yeah, thank you.
Now, what if we do some hypnosis on Corey and his wife, and they got picked up through the sunroof?
Oh, geez. And probed.
Oh, God.
I wouldn't mind knowing the time frame of when this happened. Knowing the rough, like when the Arizona lights happened. And it's in the Southwest.
The Phoenix Lights.
The Phoenix Lights, yeah.
I'm talking about. I gave you a time frame.
No.
Last July.
Oh, you
my
did?
wife and I stopped by the liquor store to get some drinks.
I guess you did say that. I missed it.
The Phoenix Lights were like in the 1990s,
That was
right?
a while ago. Right. Wow. So that's super duper recent. Wow.
Right.
Oh, yeah. Please don't be driving when you get probed by aliens. That would be bad.
God.
Just saying.
Please don't be driving while you're getting probed. So the aliens are beaming down through the sunroof into his truck, probing him as he's driving his vehicle.
Yeah, you never know.
And they're like, just stay calm, nothing to see here. It's only gonna feel like a pinch.
Yeah. You're gonna feel a little pressure. Don't worry about this. Now that would really be kind of terrifying, but it's nice to know that it was shared, so that they can kind of corroborate with one another. And when he asked his wife, she described the whole thing the way he saw it.
Actually, I really like that because he wanted to see how the did she see it? What did she see? And it was like matched identically to what he saw. I mean, that's such a. It would suck though. You look up and then you look over and your wife's on Facebook.
Right.
And you're like, how can I convince you
just missed this thing?
Right.
Yeah, I agree. Or were they driving or were they stopped? You know, who knows? Were they at a stoplight when they saw it? You know, you never know. The level of detail that I would like from that is only in the story.
Yeah, they stopped. They stopped. It was a beautiful night. Had the sunroof open, just chilling, just talking. Young love, bro.
Yeah, they were at a makeout point. They were doing their thing.
Yeah.
Young love at a makeout point, and saw that. Aliens are always busting up the makeout points. I'm just saying, they're against it.
You got some facts about this?
No. Yes, Corey just told us one. See, there you go. I don't know. I want to ask a ton more questions.
Well, that's the last time Corey submits a story to us.
That's right. I think it's amazing that they corroborated it. That's fantastic to me.
Man.
That's exactly what I would ask my wife in that scenario.
Did you see that?
What did you see? Explain it to me.
Right.
The only thing that
in detail.
Yeah, in detail. And the only thing I would do in hindsight and not in the moment, because in the moment you're not thinking 100%, is record it. Record the conversation. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, I'm with you.
Other than that, that's exactly the steps that I would have most likely done in that scenario when you saw something like that. That's the only thing you can do.
Yeah, Corey, why didn't you have your phone out?
Yeah.
and actually video the ship.
Yeah. Well, he was at a makeout point with his wife.
No, we don't know that's what they were just chilling, talking about their day.
Well, they were enjoying each other's company.
Right.
Yeah. So you wouldn't have your phone out.
That's what human adults do.
Yeah, right. Right. You wouldn't have your phone out for that. But
it's usually at the ready. Like people keep it in like their front pocket, or you can usually get your phone pretty fast.
Well,
but
it depends on what kind of talking you're doing. You know what I'm saying?
All right.
Well, Corey, I'm glad you like our show. And I'm sorry you'll never send us another story to discuss.
Please send us back, because I wouldn't mind getting more details on it. But that's
what details. He told us the whole story here.
That's exactly what I would have done in his situation. That's exactly what I would have done.
I was going to say, if you're chilling, beautiful night, looking up at the stars, and you see this, maybe your instinct isn't to grab your phone because you're like,
you would have been
you're just in awe.
Yeah,
you're just in awe.
Right.
I agree. And then you would have confirmed with your wife right there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's also like people that go to concerts and film the concert on their phone. Mm-hmm. They're not actually experiencing the concert anymore. So yeah, sometimes you look up, I see a UFO, I didn't record it, but man, that experience was amazing.
Right. Well, thank you, Corey. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Nash.
What? I agree. I think he did everything he could have done in that situation. And maybe some things we didn't know about.
Hey, would you like to send us your paranormal experience that we will read and then talk about on the show?
And let Nash just butcher the whole thing.
Yeah.
Hey, seriously, send us your story. It's awesome. Thank you for and thank you for sharing this with us and every listener out there.
Right.
All right. Anything else?
No. I'm starting my drug regimen and psychic regimen tomorrow.
Okay.
Here we go.
Hey, everybody, be safe out there. Stay healthy. Share the toilet paper. Mm-hmm. Come on.
Yeah.
Share the toilet paper.
No, new stuff, not the used stuff.
Oh, no.
New.
Of course the new.
What?
You got to specify.
I don't think I have to specify.
You just said share the toilet paper.
Oh, Nash.
Share it.
Be kind to each other.
Hashtag share a square.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. That's right.
All right. Hey, we love you.
Yep.
Thank you for listening. Thank you for being part of the show. Thank you for supporting the show. Because if it's not weird,
it's not worth checking out.